All right, everybody, welcome back to the Jack Klein Owner Series on MLB The Show. You're now in the offseason here. We, as the Angels organization, made it to the wildcard playoffs. Lost some pretty close ones to the Astros. We ended up losing to the Dodgers in the World Series. And then we actually won a championship in the AA group. So I'm pretty happy about some progress that we've made. We've been able to get an additional 10 wins there. We were 82-80 our first year, and then we ended up 92-70 the following year. So my hope is that we can continue to grow. Maybe we can get 100 wins this season. But what I wanted to focus on right now are two things. One, looking at the exclusive free agent negotiations. There are a couple different players that I'm going to look at and decide on. And then there is a new position open right now in the farm director. They've decided to retire, and now it's time for us to figure that part out. I think on our other end, these other the other parts of our staff are honestly in a very good spot. And we probably could see ourselves moving on from maybe the hitting coach. But I think our hitting coach is doing well, or maybe even our manager. It just depends on what's needed. So first, let's go ahead and check out the potential free agents here. I do see Danny Jansen. We did make a trade for him from the Blue Jays, and he's only 29 years old. He's got some good abilities as far as power is concerned. But that's pretty much it after that. So I have to think about, if we decide to bring him in, what would that mean? Mike Zunino, he was not with us at all. We only played him in the playoffs or towards the end of the year, so it didn't really work out for us. Aroldis Chapman was a pitcher that I really liked, but then as our other guys started to develop, I just kept him down in the minors. And then Aaron Loop really had some time where he was just either in the single A group at times, but he really wasn't trying to do much. I just knew I couldn't train. So if I am going to look at any of these players, I have to consider this right here. Where do we stand, right? If we were to make this trade right here, this acquisition here, what would that mean for other players like Gary Sanchez or even Logan O'Hoppe? Because Danny Jansen wants to be an everyday kind of guy. I just don't know if we should be doing that. We kind of went all in this year, and to be honest, I really didn't see much. So I don't really want to put $9 million into this thing, knowing that I have somebody like Logan O'Hoppe. He's got great potential, which is awesome, but I think we're going to let someone else kind of go after that. So when it comes to the exclusive rights and in these negotiations, we're actually going to let these players go. What I do want to make sure we focus on, though, next is the farm director. There were a couple of people that I was looking at. First was David Sanders. He's 37 years old, and he's got A attribute grade, and with him comes with +2 power, +1 clutch, and +3 fielding. The other coach I was looking at was Steve O'Malley, who's 39 years old. He helps us out with velocity, control, clutch, and fielding. So this is going to be very defense and pitcher oriented there. I'm really thinking about that. You know, I could grab someone like Kyle Snyder as well. He's going to help us out with hits per 9, walks per 9, and up our speed. You got Solomon Lincoln here, who's going to help us with reaction time, clutch, hits per 9, and durability. Never anything wrong with durability. You got a +1 home runs per 9, +2 velocity, +1 clutch, and arm accuracy. So there are a couple different coaches out there that we can go for, but I don't want to stop trying to spend the money. I want my staff to be solid, and I think I'm willing to spend some money on the top guy right now. So it's either going to be David Sanders. The only thing here is he's got an attribute in bunting that really doesn't matter to me, and but he helps us with the power and the plate clutch, which I am looking to try to continue to increase our clutch as far as hitters are concerned. The fielding also, I think, could also help us out. Excuse me. The clutch for pitcher, so he's more of a pitching person, and I think think I want to continue to up our offense. So what are we going to offer here? I think what's fair is probably a 3-year deal. If I can get him, maybe I'd say a 3-year deal is fair, and I'm willing to pay this person a decent amount of that. So it's going to be about $4 million, $1.3 million a year for this farm direct rule, and I think that's the right offer there. So hopefully he takes that. If he doesn't, I'm willing to offer O'Malley the same deal, but maybe $100,000 less. And worst case scenario, we just have someone who's. Those are the 2 offers I'm willing to do right now, and hopefully, helpful. So it looks like interest isn't that high. Decent. They're about similar interest. I don't know. They may end up spending a whole lot on somebody else at it. So we're gonna go ahead now. Sim that. David Sanders, he's no longer interested. No. So that just really messed me up right there, because look at this. It looks like all these other guys. So it looks like there's some big offers right now. There's a manager right now for Alex Horn. David Sanders, he's got a lot of interest everywhere. And I think we're going to have to up his thing to like maybe $2 million. I think that's going to be, so he's offering 1.2 and they are offering about 5. That's 4 years. So do we want it that badly? Him. No one's going after O'Malley. So I have to think about that part. Like, is that the most important thing for us? Do we spend all our money on the guy? Or do we even go after someone like Dirk Rivera, who's going to help us with hits per 9, home runs per 9, and plus some speed? I complain when I see some of that stuff right there. I just want to have all pluses though. Stealing, blocking, plate discipline, and hits per 9 is Horace Goodman. There's some big offers at the top right now. And I just don't I don't see myself trying to go crazy, but I think David Sanders is the right deal. Knowing what he can do for us, the power component of it, I just want to also bring in some good fielders, good hitters, and we're going to see how that works out there. So he's accepted the Mariners' offer of a third base coach. Wow, so we didn't even get that one. Let's go back and look at that. So it looks like Steve O'Malley still wants to work with us. So I gotta think about who else is out there right now. Troy Diaz, strikeouts per 9, arm accuracy. I think here what we're gonna have to do is just focus on this guy right now. Knowing that he's gonna give us +1 fielding, I'm going to give him what we were going to give the other guy, and hopefully that should be enough to allow us to have a decent farm director there. So Steve O'Malley has accepted our offer, $1.3 million for 3 years, for $1 each year for the next 3 years. That's good. So now we have our staff in order, which is very helpful for us. Now we have a good coach. The coach is there. We're going to spend our money. $8.44 million is where we're at, but we're probably going to look at a new pitching coach next year. We're probably going to keep Lee Wood as far as our first base coach and our third base coach. I want to keep both of these members there. And we're going to have to figure out a new manager if for some reason we decide to move on. But look at this. Jose Altuve accepted a 4-year deal, $60 million to re-sign with the Houston Astros. So we wish them the best of luck there. Today is the last day to tender your offer. Would you like to stop? No. We're going to go ahead and move on now. And this is where we have the ability to maybe look at some other guys here, tender some offers to some other cats, and select our 40-man roster. Now, there's some other players here that have the potential that I could lose in the Rule 5. So I think this is where I have to think about what we have, right? So who are currently on our 40-man roster right now? So we're going to go down this list. We're going to think about who is not going to be on this team. And I think this is where Rosenthal, we're probably going to have to look at trading him. That's probably going to be response right now. Designate for assignment. It says he will immediately be removed and from the 40 inactive. You will then have 7 days to trade him, place him on outright waivers, or release him. So probably going to look at Rosenthal, removing him. Yusei Kikuchi, I think it's only fair to let him go, get him off assignments. Gary Sanchez, this is the guy where I feel like he's got decent fielding, he's got a good arm, and we only have him for 1 more year. I think he's a good backup for Logan O'Hoppe, who's going to play every day. Caleb Ferguson, I really didn't see much from him. He only pitched 29 innings in the entire part that we were in, so that does not make me feel good. I'm probably going to look at trying to trade him. So we're going to go ahead and designate assignment. Giancarlo Stanton, he's going to be there for our designated hitter. Griff McGarry. Chris Rodriguez, we're also going to look at trading him, getting him off this team. Mason Wynn is probably going to be looked at being traded. Jeremiah Jackson, Mickey Moniak, we're going to go ahead and designate for assignment right now. Leonardo Rivas. This is a player that was after Albert Almas. These are guys that I have to consider like important to move on from them. So I think we're going to try to get them designated for assignment. And Jose Soriano, got to work that. So that gives us 7 spots. This is where I have to think about who am I willing to give that spot to, right? So Daryl Gordon is going to be on the 50-man roster, 40-man roster.
A few moments later.
Look at what we did right there. We were able to receive someone with a right fielder from the Tigers for Chris Rodriguez, who we're going to let go. We were able to also trade for Lourdes Gurriel from the Astros, and in return we sent them a reliever, and I think that's a fair deal for Stanley. That gets us to 36. So we got 4 spots left here. I think that's a good move. Tender the contracts that we want. Guess what I have to do is I have to tender the contract for Mason Wynn and just see if he takes a cheap amount, then we can trade him. Spend the money and then we transfer it over. I think that's a fair. Leonardo Rivas, I think we have to do. Oh wait, I have him on unconditional waiver. I can't do it. Now that we've done that, we have room for bringing on some potential players. So let's look at that next.
A few moments later.
At accepted contracts, let's see where we have it. Do we have anything? So it looks like a couple players. This is awesome. Albert Almas, Mason Wynn, Jeremiah Jackson, Kai Bush, Barry Gamble, Ronald De Los Santos, Connor Phillips, Daryl Gordon, Justin Foscue. So it looks like most of our guys have decided to stick with it. That is freaking awesome. So when it comes to the later part of the off season, just wanted to make a couple different moves to see to just fill in some spaces. One thing that actually happened on accident is, I guess when I was simming, Hugo Eller ended up getting released. I didn't know I had 41 men on my roster. I kind of kept that tact, I guess. Should have paid attention to the signings because I guess one of the players got auto moved to the 40 man, which I didn't know that was possible, but we're gonna go ahead and bring him back there. As far as transactions are concerned, when you look at what we did, these were the trades that we decided to make to kind of make some money. Giancarlo Stanton is actually heading to the Royals, and in return we brought in a young player that we'll have in AA right now, and Jason Hayashi, who is a closer. We also were able to obtain Eduardo Garcia and Eduardo Castro from the Brewers, and in return we've went ahead and sent Hunter Renfroe back to that team. Mason Wynn did not fit us, so we've also decided to move on from him. We've traded Mason Wynn to the Royals, and in return we received a starting pitcher and prospect in Frank Mazzucato. We sent Yancy Almonte to the Marlins, and in return we received a prospect in Darren Moore, a starting pitcher. We traded Chris Rodriguez away to the Tigers for a prospect in Giancarlo Encarnacion. And our big trade was Lourdes Gurriel from the Astros. We played against him quite a bit, and he's a little bit older, but I want him in that rotation in the outfield. He could play in the infield at certain positions as well. And in return, we sent Trevor Rosenthal and Caleb Ferguson to the Astros. Now, that also does mean we're going to see them this year, so we have to prep for that. There were some injuries that it looks like everyone's back on track, so it's great to see there. We were able to fill in some other spots as far as free agents to move along our minor league system, kind of reload some of those spots. There's definitely some AA prospects here that I really feel like we can make some moves on. Trying to replenish some of the relief pitching pipeline right now. So we went ahead and grabbed some players like Travis Kuhn and Luis Santos. I feel like we have an opportunity to maybe repeat in the AA playoffs and maybe see our AAA Salt Lake City Bees out there. But I'm pretty happy with the moves that we made. The bigger acquisitions were, of course, returning Brandon Drury from the Phillies. Signed him for a 2-year deal for $13 million. And Tyler Glasnow, 3-year for $37.6 to be another component of this rotation. So I feel like now our bullpen is getting stronger. We got some younger cats there too in the relief in the bullpen that can really work out. But I'm pretty happy with that component there. We will continue to see how all this stuff works out. We will have our 40-man roster now. And as you can see here, you know, the guys at the top are nothing too unfamiliar. I'm really excited to see how Reed Detmer steps up this year. I'm hoping for some positive things for him because he was on such a great track of pitching his lights out until he got injured. We were seeing some things where he was actually winning very consistently. And although it says 5 wins and 4 losses, I felt like this guy was throwing his lights out. So we're going to pay attention to Reed Detmers this year. Glasnow, now a part of this rotation. I'm really excited to see what he can do for us. Verdugo, he's going to be playing left field, and it's going to be pretty exciting to see how he works out. Brandon Drury, we'll have him. You know, he does play first base, but he plays all the other positions too, so I like that versatility there. Cody Bellinger, he got injured last year. We got him for 1 more year. He was starting to go off towards the later part of the year. Those home runs started happening when we went on a crazy streak where I think in that month we won over 20 games. So it was pretty nice to see Bellinger kind of finding his rhythm, because in the beginning of the year it was rough. So he had a lower than 200 average by the time we got through. But as you can see, his WAR was a 2 by the time he got injured. Luis Siga, we're going to have him as a middle relief pitcher. I think I still have faith in him. He hurt me in the playoffs twice, so I'm hoping he could do it for 1 more time. We got him for a couple more years anyway. Taylor Ward had a spectacular year, and I think with 31 home runs, it's just going to get even better. I think he's got all the right pieces for us, and we're definitely going to have him in the lineup there. He will probably start at first base because Gurriel's going to be out there. Gurriel here is 31 years old, another power player. Consistency at hit. He has a clutch component to it. We didn't have to pay too much we actually traded for him, so we didn't have to pay him much at all. He only had a $3 million contract, so I'm pretty excited to see what we can do with that. Gurriel can also play in the infield too, so we're going to see some things here. I definitely want to see a step forward here for Zach Neto. Neto is here for one more year, and I'm hoping he works out. He's got all the right characteristics, and in my opinion, he's got the right abilities. He just has to start hitting right, and we'll see what happens. He may end up being a trade prospect after the spring training if things don't go according to plan, but we're going to see him play out there. Depending on how well he does, we'll determine whether we decide to just let Zach Neto play more of a platoon person and let Lourdes Gurriel kind of play that second base spot, which would not be upset with. I think that will help solidify our infield with Chapman at the corner at third base. We got Drury or Taylor Ward playing first base, and then we got Bellinger out in the outfield. You got Verdugo and you got Trout. So I think all of that is great. Trevor Stephen came over from the Guardians. He had a little bit of a struggle with us, but I think we just got to figure out how we're going to get him right. So I think I have him set up right now as a setup pitcher. Ian Anderson, he was a starter for a little bit, and honestly, his record showed some great things. He had 14 wins for 4 losses with 1 save, 1.2 WAR, lower than what he previously had, but I think he did so much better for us, and he's going to be in the long reliever position, but what that's going to tell me now is I have a good group of pitchers where I can have him play 4 innings, and then I have a strong long relieving pipeline to help us out. You know, I got a good bullpen, in my opinion. Jonathan Hernandez will be a middle reliever, setup person. Gary Sanchez will be playing behind Logan O'Hoppe, the catcher. He's a little older. He didn't do so well last year, but I'm honestly okay with it because I feel like Logan O'Hoppe is going to do the work. Rodolfo Castro here will be a starting shortstop. I think he's a very good player for us. His average, in my opinion, is not reflective of his true potential. He definitely had more at bats, but he was also hurt at certain parts of last season. So I think he's going to be a great player for us. I'm excited to see Daryl Gordon in the AAA group. It's going to be fun to watch him develop. He did very well in the AA group until he ended up having a fracture in his head. He took a line drive to the noggin, and we lost him for the rest of the year. But he was doing very good. Logan O'Hoppe there. Diego Morales, we're going to see him in the AAA group. I thought he showed some greatness during the AA Panda series, and he could be pretty amazing where we can have him down here for maybe a year or 2. I'm willing to sign him for a little bit longer, give him like maybe a 2 or 3 year deal, and then we'll probably see him up in the majors around 2027 if we can hold off. If not, up in 2026, so it'll be kind of neat there. Ronald De Los Santos, he's only 19 years old, but he has done a great job in developing. He was injured at certain parts of the minor league season, but he was there for the championship, and he played very, very lights out. So it's nice to see we have a potential future third baseman there, and I think we'll keep him down there as long as Chapman's contract is. Matt Chapman is with us for quite some time, so I do not have to rush De Los Santos. I'm willing to spend a little bit more money to keep him down there and ensure he continues to develop. Woody Egan here is going to be playing a backup role, and it's not the greatest part, but we signed him for an extended period of time, and he's going to be behind Drury, Taylor Ward, Gurriel at first base. So I don't necessarily have to use him, but I like the fact that he has some power. So we're going to see him in the spring training, get him going, try to get his motions up there. But the thing is I don't have to lean on him now. So hopefully he won't be having an issue with endurance, because his durability is so low, as you can see right there, to 32. So I can't have this man be playing multiple weeks at a time, because and that was one of the things about picking him up, is I was very enamored by his ability to hit. but that durability is going to knock him down. So who knows? Maybe we end up trading this guy. We'll figure that out. Ben Joyce will be our starting closer. I'm excited for Ben Joyce. Although his OBR is a little low, I think it's time to get him out there and get him rolling. He didn't have as much success when we had him up in the majors last year. He only played 10 games. He had 6 saves, 1 blown save, and losses. But I think having him as a closer permanently now, trading Rosenthal was basically just our attempt here to let him know that he want him there. Griff McGarry, I'm really excited to see how this guy can play. He's going to be one of our long relievers, and he's got all the tools to be great. He didn't do so well because we had him start at certain points. He had a 5.5 ERA, but honestly, I felt like he did. He could do some really good things. We just got to keep him on track. Luis Angel Acuna, we traded him from the Dodgers. We're going to have him play in AAA for next year to try to see if we can get him going there. Jeremiah Jackson is more of a depth piece there. He's not a bad player. I just know we got some other great pieces there. So if he can just learn behind some of the veterans that we have set up there, can work out. Worst case scenario, he'll be behind Nito. Justin Foscue, I have him for 1 more year. I may keep him in the majors, but more than likely he'll move down in AAA. If he does a great job, we extend him a decent contract and have him there. But we just got such a crazy group of players at second base, at shortstop, and third base. I just don't know where we're going to be able to find room. So we may end up having to trade him, even though we traded for him. Connor Phillips, I had no idea we had to give him a contract there, but we're going to have him play in the AAA group for the long haul. Rob Comstock was our first round pick. Excited to see him kind of pitch and develop here. We'll probably have him in the AA group and then kind of see what happens from a standpoint. Albert Almas, he's going to be in AAA when it's all said and done, but I think having a future third base, first base kind of ability there, it's going to be awesome. Carlos De La Cruz, we're going to see how he kind of ends up working out here. I chose to put him on the 40-man roster because I just didn't want to take a chance of not seeing him in the I didn't want to have him in the 5-year draft. So what we're going to most likely do there is probably move him down to the AA group for 1 more year, get him some reps there and kind of see what happens. Rick Ritchie will probably play AAA just based on the fact that we've built up such a strong bullpen in the majors. But we have his contract for a little bit, and I think we could probably re-sign him, and he'll probably take over for another piece down the road. Jose Suarez, I didn't think I'd spend money on him, but I said, you know what, I think he's got some really good abilities, and I like the fact that he's a lefty now. He's a lefty, and it's time to see what he can do in the majors. OVR isn't that great, but I feel like he's got some really good pitching, some pitches out there that can work out. Harold Gonzalez is on our 40-man. I don't know why Harold Gonzalez is on my 40-man. But I guess he took over Hugo Eller. I think they did that. So what we're going to end up doing with Harold Gonzalez is more than likely get him down into the minor league for a couple more years and kind of see how that works out. Mark Nakamura, he'll be down in AAA, but he had a really good spot. He was playing starting pitcher for an extended time, and he honestly did very well. So him being a long reliever is going to be awesome. Kai Bush, I think he's just kind of thrown into this pipeline here. There's a possibility we end up trading him during the spring training. I like Kai Bush. I think he's quite accurate, but I just don't know if he's going to be here for the long haul. Jose Soriano, I can see him in AAA for 1 more year, and then we're going to test it out and see what happens. These are 2 players right now that just unfortunately are in a spot that they weren't in a couple, at the beginning of this thing. These were players I really was hoping to kind of move up, but it's going to be tough now. So now we are heading to the AAA, to the spring training. And with that is going to entail a couple different decisions we're going to have to make here, because there are a couple players that we're going to have to make moves on. You look at somebody like Lourdes Gurriel, who's who's going to ask for a whole lot of money. We got to figure out what we're going to do there. You got a guy like Zach Nito that's saying, hey man, like I need to know if this is all going to work out, and could we give him like a bigger contract, like for 3 years or something like that, and then if sign him and we give him this kind of contract. I have to know if this guy's actually going to be worth it. Cody Bellinger may end up being the odd person out when it's all said and done. I may not extend him a contract and just kind of wait, see what we can do, and if he does very well, then maybe we sign him during the mid-year, but there's an opportunity and a chance that we let him go and choose to go with Gurriel, so we're going to have to work through that one. Reed Detmers is 100% a piece that I want to bring back, and I'm willing to sign this guy for a good amount of money. My issue with Reed Detmers is his durability right now. It's been kind of rough. Even though he's got an 80, he's been hurt multiple years now. So I don't know what we're going to do there, but he's going to be the guy that I'll probably solidify down the road, and I'm willing to sign him probably for a 5-year deal. That's the kind of thing I'm willing to do there, and which is kind of nuts because he is not interested. Look at this. He's actually only interested in a 2-year deal. As soon as you push it to a 5-year deal, he's like, no. So if we sign, I'm just going to experiment real quick. It's going to take a multi amount of money. So I think what will end up happening here is 2 years, he's willing to accept a cheaper contract. But when that happens, it's going to mean more than likely he's going to ask for a lot more money at 27 years old. I don't think that's a bad gamble there, because by that point, when I look at my roster, if it shows me the budget there, by the time we have to do that, you got Trout, Ohtani, Chapman at 2028, and everybody else will pretty much be off our roster, which means I should be able to spend a whole lot more money when it's all said and done. So, we'll kind of work through that. I want to see if there's currently no players on the block right now. I think we got some good pieces, man. We're going to see some guys kind of move up and down here. We'll see some guys move to AA after the spring training's all said and done. I might try to refill some of the single A pieces as well at that point. But this team looks pretty good, man. I'm pretty excited about it. I think we got a really, really good potential to make this thing work out. As far as top prospects are concerned, Barry Gamble is still there. I can honestly see myself bringing in Barry Gamble to be a setup pitcher, and a combination of him with Ben Joyce for the future is going to be pretty freaking awesome. We got Giancarlo Encarnacion. He's a number 19 prospect, but I don't know how much we're going to be able to work with him. I think it's gonna take a lot. Like, he's got great fielding, a good ability as far as base running acumen, but this guy's got a lot to work on. So we'll see how that works out there. Do I have any others? I do not in the top 50. So it's the minor league group is going to need some. I'm really surprised Daryl Gordon's not there. That is really surprising, Daryl Gordon. Now that I think about it, why isn't Daryl Gordon on that list? Wow. Well, that's their issue there. I'm pretty excited about it. Ohtani, Reed Detmers, Glasnow, Severino, they're probably going to play like a pitch an inning or two, but I'm going to get these other guys going. We're going to see like Daryl Gordon out there, Nakamura, Connor Phillips, Comstock. I want to see these other guys pitch. So we'll let them start a couple innings or two, but more than likely we're going to see that switch there. As far as the infield and stuff, I'll kind of tweak this out. I don't see myself allowing like players like Trout to be out there for too long. We'll probably see Bellinger out there, and then Carlos De La Cruz. So there's no way I'm going to see some of these other guys potentially get hurt. Matt Chapman, for example, we'll probably see Almas out there. Second base, Zach Nito, I definitely want to see how he works out. but shortstop, it's probably going to be Jeremiah Jackson. Will probably do this. So we see Jeremiah at second, Nito playing shortstop. Diego, he could probably play first base. Pat, we go Diego. Actually, I want to get Woody Egan at first base. Almost can play first base and third base. Diego can play second. I kind of want to see Diego out there. De Los Santos, probably let him play halfway through the game. Oh wait, Luis Anjal. I need to actually get him out there. He can play shortstop. Probably Luis Anjal. Let's get him at shortstop there. I'm actually kind of tweaking some of this stuff. Let's get Gary Sanchez there. Didn't think I would make the decisions now, but designated hitter. Ooh, make Diego Morales as a designated? No. I don't want to see his fielding ability out there. Yes, we go Luis Anjal as a designated hitter, which allows us to move. Get Zach Nito in there. I kind of want to just see what he can do. Oh man. Man, it's going to be kind of neat. I definitely want to see Albert Almas there, but let's get Foscue in there. He's a little older, and I need to know what we have there. Carlos De La Cruz. Field. That's a pretty decent group right there. Actually, I feel like I got a guy who can play in the outfield. A guy who can play. I have one of these guys that can play. Oh yeah, we can't have Lourdes Gurria out there. No freaking way. Wow, I don't know why I thought I had. Oh wow, I guess I don't. Weird. It's there. Gurriel definitely can't play. I'd rather have Drury out there than Gurriel. That might not be a bad move there. Just can't risk anyone getting, like, a big person getting injured. I just want to see what Nito can do, man. We got to give him some more spring training practice. And Bellinger's out there just for the sake of being out there, but it's a good group, man. So I was kind of messing with that one, but I'm really looking forward to this. I really appreciate everyone that stopped by today. A little bit of a longer episode, but I like the off-season decision making. If you like what you saw, please drop a like, leave a comment, and most importantly, subscribe to keep up with the series. I'm excited to head into 2025, and I hope you all are too. I appreciate it. Let's keep it rolling, everybody. Let's go Angels. Have yourself a good one.